Hi everyone, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts.
Hi everyone, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts.
Hey Fran. It's a very snowy day here in Ottawa, so perfect day to be in my craft room, although I am just getting back from a snowshoe out in the backwoods, and I did forget a few of the things, like you can't walk backwards. So it was entertaining, to say the least, but it was beautiful in the woods, and now I'm back in my craft room. So I hope that you are having a chance to be in your craft room and just enjoying some quality crafting time. Yes, Fran, this is beautiful. So today I'm going to be giving you a sneak peek of one of the new papers that will be available to customers January 5th. And before I do that, I just posted Winter Stamp Camp. Registration is now open. It is January 14th, but you can make the cards anytime. There's a video and a PDF tutorial, and we'll be making 14 cards using all new products. So that's a fun one. You get $35 worth of products. The early bird price is $70 before December 31st, and then there are some add-ons that you can add if you like. And if you're watching me on Facebook, I did put the link to register in a Facebook post. Hey Jennifer, do you guys have snow in Michigan? Probably. I think you're kind of like us. So coming January 5th is the new mini catalog and Sale-A-Bration. Sale-A-Bration is only for 2 months this year, January and February, and the mini catalog is only for 4 months, January till the end of April. And there are so many things in this catalog that you're going to love and want. And if you want to get your own discount, you can sign up as a demonstrator and then you get a 20% discount on your products. One other thing I have available in my classes, or you can just email me, is my adhesive pack. It is $35. It has a stamp and seal, dimensionals, a glue eraser, an ink eraser, a bottle so that you can put some of the white glue in for fine tip, the white glue, and glue dots. Great deal, comes in a cute little case, and it's a great little Christmas gift. Okay, on to what we're doing today. I am using Something Fancy, which is also a new product in the new catalog, and it has coordinating dies. I'm not using the dies today. And the other thing I'm using is these Dainty Delight dies. I'm actually just using this big one here. Beautiful. It's a beautiful die, and it's perfect for this paper. So my last Facebook Live, I made these 3 cards using the same paper. The sound wasn't very good, I apologize, but the cards were pretty. So this was the first one, and this was the second one. One of the sheets of paper has these beautiful ovals that I couldn't get them to fit into the floret dies, but I may not have tried it enough. And that paper, it's so beautiful. You don't really need to add much when you're working with this paper. So those are the 3 cards I did last week. And I do have a little paper sampler here, but I'll just show you the big sheets because, yeah, we'll see when we get there. So it has this one style design where you can cut the top and the bottom, and then always save this little strip in the middle. I use that for sentiments because it's not really white and it's not really vanilla, so it's perfect if you save that little strip for sentiments. So that's that sheet. There's the back. Gorgeous. So this is the paper I used for this one, and you can see how just a little strip of the flowers and the green on the side makes for a beautiful card. Thanks, Jennifer. Here's the next one. Perfect paper for a snowy day. Just gorgeous. This is the one we're working with today. which I thought was my favorite. It might be, but I don't know. I just love all of them. Fresh Freesia. So that one matches this one. I'll do a card with that, I'm sure, at some point. We definitely will be using this paper for our winter stamp camp. It's going to be a long time before I see flowers out in the wild, and I love this one, and you'll see how I used it today. Not for a background, but for some of my sentiments. And here, this is the fitting florets. Just doesn't match up. Although, you could do a little vellum border. Anyways, oh, so pretty. And then again, just a splatter. So that's the paper, and it is a free Sale-A-Bration paper at the $60, at level 1, $60 purchase. So it's just beautiful, and it's got a nice array of colors that it coordinates with. Okay, so we're going to be doing 2 cards and a little bag. And here's a little mini version of the bag. So I took that paper that had the beautiful flowers partway up, but after I cut it, I realized I should have cut it higher so that, no, there's really no way to do that. Most of the flowers ended up on the bottom, but I think it's still pretty. And here, I don't know if you can tell, this is another new product. It's vellum. And there's this one, and then there's one in the pack. There's a sheet that's striped and a sheet that has polka dots. So I already have a design idea for this one, which maybe I'll do next week. I probably will start popping on more than once a week now that I'm finished teaching. So I've heat embossed it in gold, and there, when I told you to save that little strip in the middle, so from that little strip that was above here, I punched out these 2 flowers using a new punch, which I know I'm going to use a lot, called Petal Park Builder. 3 different size flowers and a leaf, and it's perfect. The perfect size. So stay tuned for more things coming up with that particular vellum and that punch. I already have an idea. Okay, so we're going to make a little bit bigger version of this box. I seem to talk a lot today. I started out when I was designing, I thought I'll do an easy one, then a little bit harder, and then a little bit harder, but it didn't quite go as planned, so I'm just going to show you what I did. So here's the first one, tone on tone. If you watch me, you know I love tone on tone. So this is Old Olive. Then I took Old Olive again, and this is the Fern 3D embossing folder, which I love. And then this is Old Olive, and I don't remember the measurements. Three by 4 1/4. And then I have the Designer Series paper. This one is 1 1/4, 3/4, and 1/2 is the last piece. So for this one, I'm going to swap out the middle one. I've done this card design before, and I got it from, oh, what's her name? Anyways, it's not an original idea of mine, so I don't want to take credit for it. Susan Campfield, that's who I got the idea from. It's great if you have little strips of scraps. So let's go ahead and start putting this part together. I always use white glue when I have an embossing folder. I find it sticks better. And it's also a little more forgiving. Okay, now we're going to put these ones together, but I'm not going to attach it yet. So there's a couple of ways you can do this to get it exactly where you want it. I'm going to start with the outside, and then the other outside. You just want to try to get it so that it's Same distance to the edge and same distance to the top. And really, no one's going to notice. So this piece is from one of these backs. It might be this one. No, it was this one. So this little 3/4 inch piece is from one of the edges. So you really have to look at this and decide how you're going to use it. You can use it totally as a background, but I've used it today in the green areas, and I've the sentiment is somewhere on here. I die cut it from this piece as well. Okay, so now we can add our middle piece, and we know it's going to be even because we just put it where we want it. Okay. Now our sentiment for this one, they're the exact same size, so I'm going to offset it a little bit. And I'm deciding how much of anything else I want to add. I think I want to add, so this is that big die I showed you. This one right here. And of course you can use 2 of them to create an oval. Oh my gosh, that's really pretty. But I don't want to do that right now. I just want a little piece, so I'm just going to cut. I still want to be able to use the bottom part, so I'm just going to cut it. And then I'll save this one for something else. I just want something small. This one is a little bit simpler than the next one. This is going to get popped up with dimensionals. But before I do that, I'm deciding about a bow if I want to do linen thread around. I think for this one, let's keep this one simpler. And I'm just going to put a little bow on. Does anyone else like monotone cards? I love monotone. All right, so now we'll take our little piece and I'll just do my little bow so I'll know exactly where I want to put this, because I want to hide that little piece at the bottom, or maybe put it on the stem. We'll see where it looks good. So I'm just using linen thread. I use a lot of linen thread. I think it might look nicer kind of on the stem. And then it kind of hides the bottom anyways. I could have tucked that in here, under there, but then it goes too high. Let's just go with this. So I just put a little glue dot on. I'm just going to put this where I want it. Having a change of plan because, no, I have to. I don't want this to be sticky. So I did cut out some other things. There we go. That is from the branch punch. I think that's what it's called. And then we'll just add this right there. And then I have adhesive backed milky dots. I think they're called milky because they're kind of not, I don't know. They're milky. They are kind of milky actually. Let's put 2 over here. So these are also available in the new catalog. Whoops. Okay, I like that. So that's our first card. Just put it over here for the moment. Our second card is similar, but for this one what I did is I was just playing around with the embossing folder in different colors, color on color, or using 2 colors. So for this one I used Mossy Meadow, and what I did is I embossed the whole front of the card. So that's going to be our front. Then I have the same 3 by 4 1/4, but then I took one piece and we're going to layer it. So I cut this exact piece, half, 3/4, and 1 1/4. So together it is, well, you could just add those together, 2 1/2 by 4. So let's do the same thing. We are going to add some twine around this one. I've also done the other one, the one that we did first, and embossed the middle piece. That's a fun look as well, especially if you, I did it for a lot of winter cards and then I embossed it using the snowflake embossing folder. This one's different because it's the same piece, just cut up. And you could put it closer together if you want. This one I am going to wrap twine around, linen thread I should say. There is a new twine, but it's not quite the right color. It's garden green, and this is Mossy Meadow. It's not too bad. And Old Olive. So let's do that around twice. Looks good. I'm going to put the bow to the side. I might adjust it later. It's always harder doing bows on Facebook Live. There we go. Could be a bit tighter, but it's good for now. So that's going to go here. And for this one I have similar, but I used a smaller circle and then the same size of vellum. And we're going to add again some of our little branches. These ones I might put underneath and build it up. So I also cut some out of vellum. So let's try to trim this one down. I like that. I'm going to tuck that under here. When I use vellum, I like to use the darker color underneath and then the vellum, and I find it shows up better. Okay, and then that's going to go like that. All right, let's just get these sorted out. I'm going to use a glue dot because it holds it down the quickest. I'll do the green one first. I don't really like where the vellum one is right now. I don't want it exactly on top, I want it offset a little bit. That's good. And then this is going to get dimensionals. And it'll cover up that. So we use thank you for both of them. You could add more under here. No, that would look dumb. Never mind. Okay, so we have those extra ones to play with. Put them up there. And now we'll add this using dimensionals. So the same design, just a little bit different. Tone on tone or 2 colors. You guys can decide which one you like best. Has anyone else started playing with this paper? It's so pretty. You could put another little glue dot there to hold those down, but I'm not really worried about it, so I'm just going to leave it. And I think I'll add just one. Okay, so there's our 2 cards, and now we're going to make our little box, or gift box, gift holder. So I went ahead and stamped, again using that paper from the back, "May the good you do come back to you." And I thought it would go nice with one of these thank you cards. Whoops. And I'm using one of the retired Stampin' Up! Punches. You might have one in your stash. This is the 1/8 inch punch. These are very handy, so I did not get rid of them. Okay, so we've got that ready to go. Now our paper is 8 by 8.5. And it's scored, I'll show you on the other side, it's easier to see. So it's scored at 2 inches, and then at the 4 inch, so it's scored 2 inches just up to the fold, 4 inches all the way up, 6 inches just to the fold, 8 inches all the way up. Seems complicated, but it makes sense once you do it. Do be careful when you're scoring designer series paper that you don't score it so hard that it tears. This paper is actually quite thick. It's lovely. So now I'm looking for my 4 inch. And yep. Now my 2 inch. Okay, we did that. So now I'm going to cut up to the fold only. Even the ones that go higher. It's a really simple and fun little box. Well, it's not really a box, it's more of a bag. Cut off this last little piece. Always when you're making boxes, you always cut off that little piece. I'm going to use tear and tape. Yeah. And I'm putting it right at the fold. And we'll do this first. You can put these ones on, but I always forget which ones. I agree, Jennifer. I like the tone on tone too. But they're both pretty. I do a lot of tone on tone. I like doing tone on tone and adding vellum. Okay, so we're going to fold that in. And then you just line it up. It should be exact. And it is. And then you just take the bottom and you just fold it in. You can put glue on as many layers as you want. I'm just going to put tear and tape, which is so strong, on the final one. Depending on how heavy whatever you're putting inside is, may determine how many panels you glue down. I think 3 pieces of tear and tape is going to be sufficient. All right, then I'm just peeling it off. The trickiest part of tear and tape is peeling it off. Once you get it, it's easy. I don't know what these little boxes are called, but they're super simple. I think I am going to put a little bit of glue. No, I'll just use snail on this one. This is the second one. Only because I noticed when I was putting it on here, I don't want all these flaps to be coming up. And then you just square it up. There we go. So for this one I used, and I forgot to grab it, I'll just go grab it. my 1/2 inch old retired punch. Hopefully you saved yours. And just punch a little hole. Hey, Pat. So there's a little hole. Now this ribbon, oh geez, that I used on this one is the frayed ribbon. It's really wide, so I cut it in half and then I frayed it because it's frayed ribbon. And I will tell you, it makes a mess. So I think I'm going to use the same one for this one. Or the other one that you could use is the woven ribbon, which is pretty as well. But seeing as I have this extra half piece, you can see where I cut it. So I'm just going to go down and fray it a little bit. And it will make a huge mess, but that's okay. All right, so there I have my frayed ribbon. And I have my little sentiment, and I feel like I want to put, do I do. It's confirmed. Okay, so I'm gonna add this one and then this one. So again, this paper is available January 5th. It's a free Sale-A-Bration item in Canada with a $60 purchase. Yeah, that's pretty. And I think this will be a cute little gift pack together. So I'm going to put this in, but before I tie it, I have a little piece of that twine that's not exactly the right color, but I'm going to use it anyways. Or I could use linen thread. I think I want linen thread. The green is just not right. Even though there's other greens in the paper, I want to keep it kind of consistent or matchy. Okay, so I'm just going to tie a little knot so that I can loop this through the other ribbon. And now I'll just put that through. And then go ahead and tie a nice bow. I did have to tie my bow kind of backwards to what I usually do to make it sit nice and flat. Typically, oh, let's try. It looks okay this time. Typically this is how I do my bows. Oh yeah, that worked. Didn't work before. So we want this hanging a little bit lower. There we go. I think I want to add one little milky dot. Maybe two. Okay, so here's our little treat bag. So you can see this one I did, and I cut it down because of the paper design. This one I did, I believe, 6 inches, and this one is 8 inches. So you can see the difference. Here we have our cards and our matching little gift bag, which I think would be a lovely gift to give somebody. Any other votes? Tone on tone or 2 colors? I was trying to pull out the colors in the paper, but I think they're both pretty. And this gift bag is a nice size for a little bath bomb or some little body products or lots of candy. Thanks. I think they turned out pretty. And let's see if we can get the other ones in from last week. So this paper is called Dainty Flowers, and it will be available January 5th. Or if you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order it now. That's how we get to play with stuff. It's fun being a demonstrator when a new catalog launches because we get to pre-order the products a month ahead. So then we get to play with them. Very fun. All right. Thanks for joining me today. Just a reminder, you can now register for Winter Stamp Camp. Yeah, the offset circles is just a fun way to add a little bit of vellum or color to the back without doing this, because this is small. So you have to use a sentiment that's fairly small for that one. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great weekend, and if you're in Ottawa or anywhere that's getting this snowmageddon, I hope you stay safe and get out to enjoy it because it is really, really beautiful. All the branches are covered in snow and it's just magical. I'm saying that because I don't have to shovel it. I did have to clear the roof on my greenhouse though because it's wet, heavy snow that we're getting. So I didn't want my greenhouse to cave in. But other than that, I just get to enjoy it. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.